Hello, cruel, cruel world. So as you might have seen on the news, laws around nitrous oxide laughing gas have changed very recently on the 8th of November 2023. So is this good for the public in general, or could this law actually be dangerous for our children? Watch this very video to find out. My name is Dr. Sohom. I'm a Consultant Forensic Psychiatrist. I assess mentally disordered offenders for a living so that you don't have to. So nitrous oxide, also nicknamed hippie crack due to its psychedelic effect and the fact that it's so short-lasting and intense that people want to keep doing it and doing it. Although I have to say, that's the nickname that I see in newspapers and on the news. I've never actually heard a real-life person call it that. Anyway, so what are the changes? It's now categorized as a Class C drug, which means that possession of it could carry a sentence of up to 2 years in prison, and dealers could face 14 years behind bars. So why? Why have the government done this change of laws? It's because there's been a rampant increase in antisocial behaviour. They've begun a crackdown because after festivals and in high streets all across the UK, they're often littered with dozens of these silver canisters. I'm sure you've seen them when you've been out and about. I'm sure you initially didn't know what they were, but I think now you probably do. So next logical question, why not just have an outright ban? Because you can openly buy them in shops, you can buy them online. Why not just stop it all if you're the government? It's because there are actually legitimate reasons to have nitrous oxide, such as maternity wards, gas and air, and catering, making cream cakes. So those kind of companies can, if they can prove that that's their use, they will be exempt from these restrictions. And in terms of potential punishment for possession, as well as what I already said about prison sentences, you could have unlimited fines, visible community service. You could even have a caution which would appear on your criminal record, and as I said, jail times. Interesting question, is nitrous oxide actually dangerous? Well, we do know that very heavy abuse of this can lead to health issues, and there's been at least one case in London where a woman became paralysed from overuse. But I really can't stress enough, you have to put it in the context. That is exceptionally rare, and the vast majority of people have minimal harm. A bit like kind of cannabis, it's not associated with violence as opposed to something like alcohol. So what do we think about this, about these restrictions, this change in the laws? Well, what are the potential benefits? Will kids stop using nitrous oxide? My answer is almost certainly not, because kids, adults, teenagers have always found a way to get illegal drugs. But these laws could push up the prices by increasing the risk on the dealer. They'll have to kind of take on the extra security and the extra effort. And that in itself might prevent overuse for some people, some kids, in theory. But is that going to really stop them leaving it around? Possibly. I think it's possibly. If things become more expensive, they use less, then there'll be less trash left around. What are the cons? Well, I think the unintended consequences means that people might not seek medical help because they fear jail time. So I think the cons outweigh the pros. That's not just my opinion. That was actually advised to the government by the Advisory Council on the Misuse of Drugs. That was a warning. So what are your thoughts, my Psych for Sore guys and gals? Do you think that we're over-criminalising something that's just a bit of fun? Or are you like a grumpy old man who shakes their fist when they see the canisters and think it needs to stop by any means necessary?